Well, folks, here we again for the weekly forecast. Last week we mentioned the potential for a snowstorm in the Central Plains has moved to the second half of the week. Looks like that come to fruition. Thankfully, we haven't seen significant snowfall, but we had moderate accumulations across eastern Nebraska, lesser totals across western Nebraska. The real issue was the amount of wind that we dealt with the blowing and drifting, and the quick changeover from rain to snow, which basically iced up streets. So we're going to have to deal with this cold weather for a few days after a brief respite with these warmer temperatures earlier in the week, which ended almost a 3-week stretch of below normal temperatures and sub 32-degree temperatures in eastern Nebraska. Unfortunately, as we go forward in time, we're going to have to deal with cool conditions at least through the middle of next week before we start to look at another storm system coming in the western United States that is likely to increase the warm advection from our south into our region and bring us back to above normal temperatures, at least temporarily, as we go through the third full week of the month. So let's go to the upper air models and see what we have in store as we go through this next 7-day period. I'll draw your attention to this upper air trough. This is intensified as a system went to the east of us, giving another large system to the northeastern United States. We will have high pressure in the surface working its way southward, reinforcing the cold air that came in with our snow. You'll look at an absence of snowfall here. Basically, if you see white, we're looking at 2 inches or more of snowfall. We do have a jet streak over top of us the next couple days, and that means that we could see some flurry activity, especially Sunday night as we have some weak low pressure at the surface. But again, it looks like totals are going to be less than an inch, and most of it will be a non-event. Precipitation free for most of the central part of the country. Now, as we get into Monday, we start to see this ridge moving into our region, so warmer conditions start to develop in western Nebraska. It's going to take an extra day for it to reach eastern Nebraska as high pressure is firmly in control across the northern plains. Precipitation, most of it in the Pacific Northwest and exiting out onto the eastern seaboard. High pressure moves in fully into the central plains as we go into Tuesday. That's probably going to be our warmest day. We do show low pressure trying to develop, but primarily high pressure is firmly in control. Very weak lift to our south. No moisture being evected northward. Most of the heavy precipitation on the western seaboard. And then on Wednesday, we start to see the jet trying to flatten out somewhat as we get a big pulse of energy coming to California. We'd expect some more mudslide issues there. Not much in the way of moisture here, but some milder temperatures. We may actually breach the 32-degree mark in some locations. And again, you see the heavy precipitation concentrated in the Pacific Northwest. On Thursday, we see that sag a little bit farther southward, so more of central southern California will be in the rain shield. We do show low pressure at the surface in eastern South Dakota, but that itself looks like it's going to be a non-event for precipitation. The main shield starts to make its way into the northern Rockies, and as we get into Friday, the jet stream starts to dip, and we'll need to watch this closely to see if that'll exit a storm system into our region as we go into late in the week and the following week. We do show low pressure at the surface, but again, moisture is limiting as it lays back in the Rocky Mountains. Most of the moisture that is anticipated in our region will not come until late in the weekend and the following week as we have an aggressive storm pattern set up for most of the United States. So the 8 to 14 day forecast indicates above normal temperatures east of the Rocky Mountains. I think this is probably overplayed somewhat. We might see a little bit cooler conditions across the northern plains. In terms of precipitation, widespread above normal chances for precipitation, with the heaviest being in northern California and the eastern Corn Belt.